Yesterday afternoon, OpenAI taught a diffusion model how to think. They shipped ChatGPT Images 2.0. Within 12 hours, it climbed to number one on the Image Arena leaderboard by a margin of 242 points. That is the biggest lead anyone has ever had on that scoreboard. And the model is not just better at pixels, it spells, it reads its own work, it Googles things mid-render, and it produces a functional QR code that actually scans. 2 years ago, DALL-E 3 drew a Mexican restaurant menu and labeled the enchiladas enchuita and the churros churros. AI couldn't spell. This was a running joke. Every image generator since Stable Diffusion has been genuinely terrible at text. Prompted for a coffee shop logo, you get a beautiful mug under a word that is approximately coffee, in the same way Stonehenge is approximately a calendar. That problem is now dead. OpenAI says the new model, GPT Image 2, hits 99% character accuracy across Latin, Japanese, Korean, Hindi, and Bengali. VentureBeat tested it on a historical map showing the Aztec, Maya, and Inca empires at their peak with a readable legend. It drew the map. The legend was legible. The reporter was visibly confused. In today's video, we crack open what is actually new here, why bolting reasoning onto a pixel model is a bigger deal than the renders suggest, and who is about to lose their Series B. Here is why every image model before this one was functionally illiterate. Diffusion models generate an entire image at once by iteratively denoising random pixels until a picture emerges. It is like carving a sculpture by slowly brushing marble dust off the block until a horse appears. Beautiful. Atmospheric, terrible at spelling, because the model never commits to individual characters. It commits to a fuzzy blob that looks like a word. The shape of the letters emerges from the denoising, but the letters do not know they are letters. Language models work differently. They predict one token at a time, in order, and every token is a discrete choice. This is why ChatGPT can write a sonnet. It knows a sonnet is 14 lines. A diffusion model thinks a sonnet is a vibe. OpenAI quietly rebuilt the image pipeline on an autoregressive backbone. Same mechanism ChatGPT uses for text. They are now generating images the way they generate words. One committed decision at a time. It is April 22nd, 2026, and you're watching indiehacker.news. The real headline is not the pixels, it is the plumbing. Every previous image model was a one-shot deal. You send a prompt, the model hallucinates at random noise for 30 seconds, it hands you whatever came out. No review, no correction, no feedback loop. Images 2.0 has two modes, and this is where it gets weird. Instant mode is the fast version that free ChatGPT users get. Good model, no drama. Thinking mode is the other one. Thinking mode lets the model pause mid-render, hit the open web, look up what the actual logo for Anthropic looks like, come back and redraw. It can generate up to 8 variants in a single pass and keep the character consistent across every one. It verifies its own output, catches its own mistakes, and tries again before returning to you. This is basically a reasoning loop from Claude or O1, duct-taped to a pixel engine. Nobody thought OpenAI was going to do this. The assumption across the industry was that image generation was a solved commodity. Google Nano Banana was the ceiling, and the next fight was going to be video. Sam Altman apparently had other plans. Here is what actually happens when you prompt it in thinking mode. Step 1. Your request hits GPT Image 2 and it drafts a plan. What the image contains, where each element sits, what text belongs where. Step 2. If the prompt references a specific logo or a real product, the model fires off a web search and pulls reference material. Step 3. It renders a candidate. Step 4, and this is the part nobody else shipped. It squints at the candidate, runs a check, asks, is the spelling right? Is the layout right? Is there a sixth finger on that hand? If the answer is no, it redraws, up to 8 times. Only then does it hand you the image. The underlying transformer predicts image tokens the same way it predicts text tokens, so the whole GPT reasoning stack plugs in natively. Max output is 2000 pixel resolution. Knowledge cutoff is December 2025. On the API, GPT Image 2 runs $5 per million input text tokens, $30 per million output image tokens. A single high-quality render comes out to roughly 21 cents. The demos are genuinely absurd. Somebody prompted it for a multi-panel comic about a detective cat investigating a sandwich theft. It drew 6 panels, kept the cat visually identical in every frame, rendered speech bubbles with correct punctuation, and got the visual punchline to land. Someone else asked for a restaurant menu in Japanese and Korean side by side. It produced a bilingual menu with consistent typography, accurate kerning, and prices that added up correctly. An engineer on X generated a working QR code pointing to their portfolio and scanned it with a phone on camera. It opened. This is the part where every marketing agency in America updates its resume. Infographics, product mockups, social cards, pitch decks, storyboards, anything that used to require a junior designer with Figma is now a prompt, and it is cheap. Plus users get thinking mode for $20 a month. Pro users get it for $200. Free users get instant only, which is still ahead of what Midjourney version 8 is shipping. The catch is that thinking mode is where the magic lives, and the free tier does not see it. OpenAI is pulling the exact Dropbox playbook. Upgrade your floor, charge for your ceiling, let word of mouth do the rest. Here's what this actually means for builders. If you run a generative image startup that wraps stable diffusion with prompt engineering, you're in trouble. If you build a SaaS that sells stock infographics by subscription, you're in deeper trouble. If you're a freelance designer churning out social cards and menus and ad creative, the floor just dropped out. But there is also an enormous opportunity window. Anybody shipping a product that touches images, product photography, listings, catalogs, educational content, comics, manga, packaging mockups, architecture renders, storefront localization now has a tool that works. The moat is no longer whether your images spell words. The moat is what you do with a model that can, and the full daily breakdown of how OpenAI pulled this off. What Google is shipping to fight back and who is already porting their workflows over is in the Indie Hacker newsletter. Link in the description. This has been indiehacker.news. I will see you in the next one.